Everyone, welcome to the St. Patrick's Day session of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners, March 17th, 2022. And I would like to ask our former administrator, Mr. Farzan Ahmed, to lead us in the pledge.
I'd be honored. Ms. Rice. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Farzan. I'm Barb Lewis, President. To my right is fellow Commissioner Vice President Jeff Benton. To my left, fellow Commissioner Gary Merrill. Our Administrator Tracy Davies, our Deputy Administrator Dawn Houston, and we have our clerks. We have Sarah DeNovo and Jennifer Walraven. We can begin.
Resolution number 22-185, in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held March 14th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-185. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We have no public comment this morning. Next on our agenda is the Delaware County Transit Board.
Welcome again, Farzan.
Good morning, Commissioners, Administrator, and former colleagues. This feels more like a reunion, a family
That's
reunion.
right.
It
than an
is.
official
Right.
visit.
It is. It is. You're still helping us, Farzan.
I am Farzan Ahmed, 8922 Coldwater Drive, Powell, Ohio, a proud resident of Delaware County. Commissioners, last year you honored me by appointing me to the board of the Delaware County Transit, which is a wonderful agency in Delaware County and our community. You further honored me by asking me to be the chair of that organization. It has been a wonderful experience. I've really enjoyed getting to know staff as well as my fellow board members. They are such wonderful people. Outside of one person, I didn't know any of them, and it has been such a great experience to work with them together to look for how we can make this agency part of the future of Delaware County. And one of our first tasks was to look for a new executive director. The former executive director did a great job for us, led the agency for a long period of time. But for the future of the agency, we thought that we need new vision and someone who can bring great leadership skills and collaboration and a wonderful attitude to our community. I'm very proud to say that the board has selected Mr. Harry Kamdar to be the executive director of the Delaware County Transit Board. And with your permission, Commissioner Lewis and Commissioners, I would like to introduce Mr. Kamdar to come and formally introduce himself to you.
Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that lovely introduction, and good morning to you, Madam President, Commissioner Merrill, and Commissioner Benton. I'm honored and privileged to be here today in front of you to talk about Delaware County Transit. As you know, DCT has done a respectable job over the last 20 years meeting the needs of our community. However, we must make a paradigm shift. That's right, a paradigm shift, in order to meet the needs of our community for the next 20 years and beyond. It starts with having a vision that is filled with futuristic ideas and concepts previously thought of as being unreachable and perhaps even impossible. But we must dream big, and we must think big. If we're to truly serve the future transit needs of the fastest growing county in Ohio, we must think outside the box and explore the feasibility of implementing cutting-edge mobility solutions geared for the 21st century generation whose expectations are far different from our parents and grandparents. Imagine someday having a mass rapid transit line running up and down the Route 23 corridor from Delaware County into downtown Columbus in collaboration with CODA. What if we had massive rapid transit lines running from our major population centers in the county, such as Delaware and Sunbury and so on, to major employment centers in central Ohio? For example, providing transportation to workers commuting from Delaware to the Honda plant and Scott's Miracle Grow plant in Marysville. Or providing transportation to tomorrow's workers who will be commuting to the new Intel complex in Licking County. What if we had autonomous circulator shuttles running through our beautiful downtown Delaware, allowing passengers to visit establishments including stores, restaurants, parks, and the waterfront? As you can see, esteemed commissioners, the possibility for modernized transit solutions in our community is endless. I hope to meet with each of you and also various stakeholders in the coming days and weeks so that we can carve out a shared vision for addressing the future transit needs of Delaware County. As I conclude my remarks, Madam President and esteemed commissioners, I just want you to know how excited I am to be here, to be leading our transit agency for our community and potentially making a quantum leap, not just a little baby step forward, but a quantum leap forward for our community's future transit needs. I would be remiss if I did not mention that I'm especially grateful to the chairman of our board, Mr. Farzan Ahmed, and the rest of our board members and staff who have provided a very warm welcome. I'm happy to answer any questions you all may have.
Thank you so much. We are very, very pleased that you are here. Could you just tell us a little bit about your background?
Thank you for that question, Commissioner Lewis. I am a servant leader. I get my joy out of serving people, making a difference in the lives of others. And so for the last 30 years, I've been serving Ohioans in various facets, various industries, such as the Department of Youth Services. I used to work down near Portsmouth in a juvenile prison. Helped open that prison in the mid-90s in Franklin Furnace, Ohio, serving over 300 incorrigible youth. And it's when I decided that I really want to make a difference in the quality of life of these individuals and returning them back to society as productive citizens. And then from there, I became the superintendent of our facility in Circleville, the Circleville Juvenile Correctional Facility. And then I went into leadership in downtown Columbus with the agencies as Deputy Director of Finance and Facilities. And then from there, I moved on to the Office of Budget and Management for the state of Ohio, and I was a business transformation manager where we introduced some new cutting-edge solutions in business. And then from there, I went to public health as a deputy director, again, another leadership position. I was there for the Ebola crisis that we had, the Toledo water crisis, working out of the Emergency Operations Center for the Department of Health. And then I was called to take on the task of leading the Ohio State Dental Board, which was in disarray. And I am a change agent also, so I went in and did what I had to do there. And then I was waiting for my next challenge, and here I am at Delaware County Transit.
Oh, thrilled to have you. Commissioner Benton, Commissioner Merrill, comments?
Well, we had a chance to speak very, very briefly, 3 or 4 minutes, and I know that you've already been around, meet some of the constituents that you'll be working with, and I think that's fantastic. It shows you're ready to move forward, and I think the relationship between the other organizations that use the transit services, JFS, SourcePoint, DD, maybe Alpha a little bit, are all going to be important players as you make this transition, and we're excited about the prospect of you being with us, and Farzan for being here today to introduce you.
Yes.
So,
Thank you, Commissioner. And then I've already met with the CEO of Alpha Group, the executive director of JFS, the superintendent of DD, and I've got a whole list of others. I've been running to all the different coffee shops around town, including Coffeeology, and haven't been to Chaffee's yet, but I'll be going there soon along with Panera.
That's great. Commissioner Benton?
Yeah, I'd also like to welcome you, Harry, and thank you for joining us and joining Data. But first I want to say how great it is to see Farzan again. And, you know, we're used to seeing Farzan over in the old Carnegie building, but, it's neat to see a former administrator in our new facility, in our new meeting room. So thank you, Farzan, for that, and for the leadership on the board, and for hiring Harry, helping to hire Harry. And it's great that you recognize the unique challenges that the transit board and the system faces. Transportation is changing dramatically, has been changing dramatically the last couple of years in particular. The next few years to the decade really look like they're going to continue to have dramatic changes. And combine that with a county that's undergoing dramatic changes. Without everything that's going on, Delaware County is a unique county because we have the southern townships, which are very suburban, much more densely populated. You got the city of Delaware, and then you got the northern townships, who are have very small populations. So it's a very unique county. Then you throw Intel in it, you throw our regular growth in on top of that, and it's a very unique situation that will require a lot of thinking and a lot of planning and analysis, so I'm sure you're up for that. So congratulations and welcome.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. We're glad, very, very happy that you chose us for your next challenge.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we
That
can
brings
proceed.
us to item number 4, resolution number 22-186. In the matter of approving purchase orders, then and now certificates and payments of warrants in batch numbers CMA PR 0316 and memo transfers in batch numbers MTA PR 0316.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-186. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-187. In the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-187. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-188, setting date and time for a public hearing with respect to the proposed issuance by Franklin County of its revenue bonds pursuant to Chapter 140 of the Ohio Revised Code to finance and refinance hospital facilities for the benefit of Nationwide Children's Hospital located in Franklin County and Delaware County, and approving the issuance of the bonds pursuant to Section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-188. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-189. In the matter of proclaiming the week of March 20th through 26th, 2022, be designated as Severe Weather Awareness and Flood Safety Week in Delaware County.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion,
Good morning, Commissioners. Sean Miller, Director, Delaware County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about Severe Weather and Flood Awareness Week. And then I'm going to kick it over to Troy Sexton to talk about one of the activities associated with that week. But as referenced, the 20th through the 26th is designated as Severe Weather Awareness Week in the state of Ohio. And really, it's a great time to have residents, businesses, other organizations review their severe weather plans and notification methods so that they're prepared if and when severe weather occurs. So really, one of the best things to do is twofold. Know the hazards that are associated with severe weather and know what preparations are for implementing ahead of time. So as far as hazards go, for Ohio and Delaware County more specifically, we know that we're prone to severe weather such as flooding, tornadoes, and severe straight-line winds. And one of the things I think that is lost, one of the points that often is overlooked, is that severe straight-line winds, so non-tornadic winds, really deserve a lot of respect in their own right, because straight-line winds can approach wind speeds of low-end tornado. And so 2 local examples of those are the 2008 Hurricane Ike remnants that hit, unfortunately, during the Delaware County Fair. None of us will forget that, unfortunately. And then the 2012 derecho, which was a really long-lived windstorm that began in Illinois and stretched all the way to the coast. But that hit Delaware County with, again, wind speeds of about 80 miles per hour. So that can do a lot of damage. As far as tornadoes go, the last tornado to hit Delaware County was Labor Day weekend of 2020, classified as an EF0 by the National Weather Service. Flooding can also occur, especially on area roadways, and motorists that choose to still drive on them are not only putting themselves in harm's way, but also potentially first responders that have to come and rescue them. Within the past 5 or 6 years, the state of Ohio passed a law that under certain circumstances, drivers who go around road closed signs due to flooding and need to be rescued may be cited and required to pay either part of or all of the rescue costs associated with that response. And this, unfortunately, is a direct result of a firefighter, Alan H. Anderson, Jr., who lost his life while rescuing young motorists from a flooded roadway. Ultimately, he gave his life so that they may live. And so, again, to kind of reiterate the hazards, severe straight-line winds, tornadoes, and floods are some of the top hazards that we face here in Delaware County and in the state of Ohio. So preparations, have a plan and stay informed. Know where to seek shelter in the event of a tornado warning. Typically, this is in a small interior room on the lowest level of a sturdy structure without windows. Mobile homes are not safe during severe weather, and shelter areas should be identified well in advance of severe weather. Have numerous methods in place to receive warnings and notifications and warnings, and this goes right in line with staying informed. But Delco alerts, wireless emergency alerts, weather radios. There are also numerous apps through FEMA and the American Red Cross. These are all great ways for residents and businesses to receive very important information. And it's very imperative that folks have a way of waking them up in the middle of the night. So this is so important because this is when we're most vulnerable. And if you think back to, I believe it was the Memorial Day tornadoes of 2019 that hit the Dayton area, there was an older gentleman that was killed, unfortunately, and he was in his bed around 11 o'clock at night. So it's very important that individuals have a way to wake them up even when they're asleep. So along with that, Wednesday of next week, the 23rd at 9:50 a.m., there will be a statewide outdoor warning siren drill, which Delaware County will participate in. As part of that, the sirens will sound as a test. And as a reminder, sirens are not designed to be heard indoors and are designed to alert those who are outside. So again, that goes to reiterate the importance of weather radios, wireless emergency alerts, and other systems that can be kept inside and will wake folks up. A great way for individuals and families to learn more about severe weather is to attend one of the upcoming virtual weather spotters courses through the National Weather Service in Wilmington, Ohio. And those courses will teach individuals what to look out for during severe weather systems. As far as flooding goes, always remember, turn around, don't drown. That's one of the key points stressed by the National Weather Service and emergency management agencies. If motorists encounter a flooded roadway, they should take a couple of extra minutes, seek an alternate route, and get there safely. Just turn around. It's really that easy. Delaware County is one of the 35 counties in the state of Ohio that is designated as a storm-ready county through the National Weather Service, Ohio EMA, and other local emergency management agencies. There's a board that comes out, kind of does a mini accreditation, and Delaware County is designated as a storm-ready county. This essentially means that the county has plans in place and systems for severe weather preparedness. And before I turn it over to Troy Sexton, Safety Coordinator, in closing, again, I'd like to encourage residents, businesses, and other organizations to take some time next week, review their plans and procedures, stay informed, and make sure that those plans are current and up to date. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Sexton.
Thank you, Director Miller.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm Troy Sexton, your safety coordinator. Obviously, it's Sean's responsibility to look at these plans on a larger scale, where it's my responsibility to go a little bit smaller and network with everyone that's employed by Delaware County to ensure that they have plans and let them know about our drill next week, and to encourage them to participate and to know what to do, muscle memory to be safe when it happens. Along with these plans, I'm encouraging people to, when this time arrives, get to your designated location, make sure and hold each other accountable for what areas you're responsible for, make sure everybody's there, and then a safe person will clear everybody out. networking with the different agencies, even the other elected officials. It's been an honor for you guys to have put me in this position because it's just fun. It's just a blast to make sure people are prepared and ready to do what they need to do to stay safe. We're ready for any questions that you may have.
So do you designate areas, for instance, here in the county for people to go in all the buildings?
So my main concern for my position is for the employees. The
Right.
public service announcements will go out to the residents. The employees that I take care of obviously will be, I have a safe person for this building. Sean will be responsible for 10 Court Street. I'm gonna go over to the Hazen Courthouse to make sure that people are where they need to be and they're not running over each other and, they're being civil and calm to get to their spots. But just to make sure that, everybody's held accountable and they're safe for something like this would arise.
Sure, sure. Yeah, it's really important that everybody know where to go, the employees.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Any questions?
No.
Okay. We do have a proclamation, and that I will give to you both.
Can we take a vote, Ms. Zoel? Commissioner, can we take a vote?
Would you like a photo?
No, a vote.
A vote, we need a vote, you're right. Okay, and then we'll, why don't we get a photo and then,
Why don't we go ahead, should we go ahead?
oh, okay, go ahead.
Vote on motion 22-189. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Okay, now,
That's official.
now it's official.
Take care, guys.
Resolution number 22-190, in the matter of approving a services agreement with MVC Limited for photographic construction documentation for the county's Bixby campus project.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Good morning, John Melvin, Director of Facilities. We first started using Multivista with the new courthouse project. What they do is they come in and based off a floor plan, we'll take a series of photographs throughout the project, and that way we can go back to that floor plan, pull up pictures, and see the mechanical rough ends, know where pipes are and everything is throughout the buildings. So this will be for the whole project out there at Bixby.
Okay.
And for insurance claims too? I mean, is that a
I
possibility?
mean, it could be used for that. We more likely use it trying to trace down leaks
Sure,
or know what's inside the walls.
Or disputes with the
It could be used
contractor?
because it is a full photographic documentation
Right, right.
of, the project.
Okay. Vote?
Vote on motion 22-190. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-191, in the matter of approving the services agreement with Innovation Hardware Incorporated for replacement of security cameras at the Hayes Building.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
This will replace we have several old analog cameras, primarily in the juvenile court area on the ground floor, that are failing. They're poor resolution and stuff. So this will replace about 14 of those cameras throughout.
Are these originals, I'm assuming? From
Yeah, it goes back to 2008 when we put, a lot of them when we put juvenile court over there.
Better technology now?
Oh, yeah, much better resolutions.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Any further discussion? Vote?
Vote on motion 22-191. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-192, in the matter of waiving the Delaware County portion of tipping fees at the solid waste transfer station to support 2022 litter control campaigns.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Jennifer Way Young, Keep Delaware County Beautiful from the Delaware Public Health District. We are back and our residents are excited, our communities are excited. I have heard from Harlem Township and I've heard from residents from Kingston Township. Everybody wants to go out and pick up litter, and Rumpke has agreed to reduce their portion of the tipping fees, and I'm requesting that the commissioners do the same. We have our river sweeps planned for this year, Olentangy August 20th, September 9th, I think, for the Scioto, and everybody wants to get out there and clean up litter, so good for our residents, good for our communities, our subdivisions too.
Any questions for Jennifer?
Any questions? I know this is an important project that, just picking up a litter that unfortunately tends to accumulate is unfortunate, but it's necessary to have people like the health department and others that are involved in cleanup. I know Rotary has a particular area they clean up on a regular basis up on 521, and so, well done.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Very important. Vote.
Vote on motion 22-192. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Resolution number 22-193, in the matter of approving the sanitary sewer subdividers agreement for Long Hill Farms at Berlin offsite.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Tiffany Mag, Director of Environmental Services. So this is a subdividers agreement for MI to bring sewer from the Pines up Pyatt Road to Berlin Station Road. This is going to serve both the Long Hill development as well as MI's Berlin Farms development. So we're giving them $154,000 in tap credits because of the oversizing and the fact that they're bringing the sewer up there for both developments.
Okay. Questions, comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 22-193. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-194, in the matter of approving a production agreement with Smart Bill LTD for quarterly printing, mailing, and providing digital images of sewer bills.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
So this is a one-year contract. We spend about $15,000 a year in the actual printing, mailing, and generating of the bills with Smart Bill. It's a minimal price increase, about $300 higher than last year for the service. We do pay about $40,000 for postage, which is the reason why I'm here at session this morning, because it puts us at that, I think, what is it, $55,000 mark. And so the treasurer is actually putting out an RFP right now for this type of service for their office, and they're going to include our specs in that as well. So if we can go ahead and change vendors next year, if there's a better price, we'll go ahead and do that. That's why we're just doing a one-year contract this time.
Any other questions, comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 22-194. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thanks. Thank you, Tiffany.
Resolution number 22-195, in the matter of approving a joint application by the prosecuting attorney and the Board of Delaware County Commissioners to the Common Pleas Court to authorize the appointment of Kip Wallers Esquire as legal counsel to provide the Treasurer's Office with a legal opinion regarding RC 321-09.
So moved.
Second. Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Doug Crew with the Delaware County Treasurer's Office. Pleasure to be here today.
Welcome.
The Treasurer's asked for this outside legal opinion regarding Ohio Revised Code 321.09. The main reason we're asking for this outside opinion is due to differing opinions between county offices to the requirements of the statute. The prosecutor's office is prohibited by legal professional rules of conduct from providing an opinion to our office, so that we're requiring outside legal counsel to provide legal guidance on this issue.
Could you go into a little detail exactly what the disagreement, misunderstanding, whatever the right word is? Could you?
Well, I think there's between the offices, there's a different legal opinion on what that part of the revised code is stating in regards to reporting the financial data. So because a prosecutor represents everybody involved in this issue, they're not able to give us the legal opinion we're seeking, so we're needing to go to outside counsel to get a legal opinion to give us guidance on the issue.
That wasn't my question. My question was as far as what's the dispute between the two departments that are making this necessary?
Sure. We'll have Jeff Jordan answer
Jeff
that.
Jordan from the Treasurer's Office. 321.09 provides, you got the actual language there. One of the sentences it says is, each business day, the county treasurer shall make a statement to the county auditor of different types of information. One of the pieces it says is the amount received from all other sources. The auditor believes that that includes interest income or other value changes to investment portfolios. the auditor wants a daily accounting of the value of investment portfolios. The treasurer believes that elsewhere in the revised code, the reporting requirements for that information are different. It's monthly, it's to the investment committee, it's to the commissioners, and to the state treasurer. And so that's the specific question. How often and to whom does the treasurer report increase or decrease in value in the investment portfolio?
Okay.
This issue must certainly have come up in other counties. You know, what's the,
Commissioner Benton, to our knowledge, no other county treasurers in the state of Ohio have to do this type of reporting.
and you're saying that the auditor, the county auditor is saying that you need to calculate market values every day of the portfolio?
On investments.
Okay, okay. Now, having a lot of experience in investments, that's not practical. I mean, in all reality, you know, to calculate market values of non-marketable securities, because we do have some non-marketable securities every day, and that's just not practical. My understanding is that we've asked the auditor of state has been approached to weigh in on this, because certainly they've had exposure, experience, precedent in matters like this. I would be surprised if no one in the state has ever raised this issue before. So that's where I am. I just don't see that we need to go outside and retain legal counsel right now. I'd rather wait and see what the auditor of state has to say, because they would truly be experts on this. I just got to believe they've run across this elsewhere.
Commissioner Benton, that would probably be adequate, but the state audit has already begun in our office. So we have the state auditors asking us inquiries about information. So if the treasurer would like to get this legal opinion as soon as possible, so we can be prepared to respond back to the state auditors.
Well, as I say, if the state auditor says you don't have to do it, or you do have to do it, I'm gonna side with the state auditor, saying they're the experts in this versus an attorney. Again, nothing against Ice Miller, they're a good firm, but the auditor is going to be, in my opinion, the expert on this matter, and since they have to be familiar with this, I just can't imagine they wouldn't have seen this elsewhere. So I would expect them to weigh in very quickly. So again, I just don't see the need to go outside and right now, to go retain outside counsel.
Okay. I believe the treasurer's opinion is we'd like to have this legal opinion as soon as possible.
Okay.
It'd be helpful to the office.
Do we have any idea when we're going to hear from the state auditor? If there's been any indication?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Did you make the request, treasurer's office, or did the auditor's office make the request, or was it a combination?
Our office did not make the request.
So then I assume the,
Commissioners, it's my understanding that our auditor has made the request to the state auditor's office for an opinion. I asked this morning, and it sounds like he thought it would be relatively quickly, a week or two, but doesn't know for sure.
Is it possible to wait a week or two on this? Is there?
Commissioner Lewis, I would say at this time, we would like to proceed with the independent opinion, legal opinion, as soon as possible. Just to be prepared, so.
regardless of what an attorney says, I will put a lot of weight in what the state auditor's office says. I'm not suggesting I won't support the request. I just think it'd be important to have that piece of information before we authorize this expenditure of these dollars. It'd be my suggestion that we entertain the idea of tabling this until such a time as we hear from the state auditor's office, and hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later. I think that's an important piece of information based on what I understand. But I'm open for a conversation about that, but that'd be my suggestion.
I agree. I think the state auditor is going to respond quickly. This has to be an issue they're familiar with. And again, I'm going to rely on their expertise, their experience statewide in all the counties that, again, and so I'm going to agree, with whatever way the state auditor goes on this. So, at this point, I just don't see the need for an opinion. The results of the audit won't be published for several months, so it's not like it's got to be done, this week or next week. So the audit's nowhere near being done. So we have a lot of time in that standpoint to finalize the thinking on this issue and go forward.
Again, I want to make it really clear. I'm not saying I'm opposed to an attorney. I just like to have as much information as possible to make the best decision possible. And that seems to be a critical element, this perspective from the state auditor's office, in helping determine what is the right course of action. So don't interpret it in any way that I won't support that ultimately. I'd like to have a piece of information before I render a vote on this topic. So it'd be my motion that we table this to a future date, which obviously will be dependent upon when we hear back from the state auditor's office, but to a future date rather than a specific date, so we can bring this back quickly rather than a date that may or may not be appropriate. So my motion is to table it to a future date.
And I would second that. Is that the right process?
I think we need to table it indefinitely, if you don't have a date certain.
Well, indefinitely is fine.
Yeah, and again, I think the treasurer's making a very valid point, and that is calculating market values on a daily basis is not realistic.
Right.
And therefore, I think the auditor will know about this and can respond quickly.
I would like us, though, to have our auditor, in asking for this opinion, to make it a very timely opinion, so you all know how to proceed. And that way, we will have, hopefully, something more definitive.
I will say this before we vote. If this gets dragged out, I'm optimistic to believe that it'll be done quickly based on what I've heard. But if this gets dragged out, I'm certainly willing to bring it back for a vote in a reasonable period of time. But right now, I want to be optimistic and assume we're going to get a quick response.
Commissioner Merrill, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I would also be open to voting quickly on it if we don't get an opinion quickly.
Thank you. We do appreciate, the treasurer appreciates
Yeah,
that.
but thank you for coming over.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We need to vote.
Well, resolution number 22-196, in the matter of indefinitely tabling a joint application by the prosecuting attorney and the Board of Commissioners to the Common Pleas Court authorizing the appointment of Skip Wallers Esquire as legal counsel to provide the Treasurer's Office with a legal opinion regarding RC 321-09. It was motioned by Commissioner Merrill, seconded by Commissioner Benton. And if we're done with discussion, we'll take a vote. Vote on motion 22-196. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
And I will make a personal note in my records. If we don't hear something within a week or so, I'm not going to give an exact date. I will personally bring it back to, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Jeff.
And that brings us to administrator reports.
Hello, Commissioners. Tracy Davies, County Administrator. The only thing I wanted to mention today is we had a meeting this week with all of the utilities related to the Berlin Business Park, and it was a good meeting. We're going to start meeting on a more regular basis to make sure that we can keep that project moving and have all utilities available. That's all I have.
I have a couple items. Dawn Houston, Deputy Administrator. So last week, I attended the Delaware County Association for Townships meeting, and it was very well attended. It was the first time that they'd been back in person with everyone, so it was nice, I think, for all of them to be able to get together. There was a lot of discussion from the townships that did speak on their development plans and planful growth within the townships, and also there was a presentation by Alan Freeman, who is a trustee in Claremont County, and also does grant work. He's been working with Orange and Concord Townships on several grants that they've been successful receiving. So I'm thinking that he may be looking to work with some of the other townships and their grant needs to the state and possibly even federal grants that might be available for them. So it was a good meeting. I was happy to attend. And then also this
Hey,
week.
Don, while
Yes.
we're on the township meeting, did the Intel come up as a topic among the various townships?
No, it did
during the
not.
dinner?
It did not.
'Cause some of the townships are very close and will likely be very influenced by Intel, and others less so, but I was just curious
Correct.
if that was.
Yes, it did not come up. Actually, Harlem was supposed to attend to speak, but unfortunately, none of their trustees were able to make it. So maybe at the next meeting, which is June 9th, we may hear from them.
That's what I was going to ask, when the next.
The next meeting is scheduled for June 9th.
Okay, June 9th.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Thank you for going.
No problem. Also, I met this week with Tom Lennon, who is a retired captain with the United States Navy. And Tom is the current director of the Veteran Companion Animal Services, where they are currently operating out of the Entrepreneurial Center at Ohio Westland. They are pairing up veterans with dogs. And so I have put them in touch with Veterans Court at the municipal court, as well as with our dog warden, Mitch Garrett, and also took him downstairs to meet with Veterans Services. They were aware of the program in place, but I don't think he's met yet with Brian Gallagher. So I think Brian will be meeting with him once he's back from his military leave, but it sounds like a really neat program and one that we may be collaborating more with in terms of our dog warden and the dogs that we're able to adopt out that the Humane Society isn't able to take. They're currently working very closely with the Humane Society, but there are times when we do have dogs that they're not able to take for a variety of reasons, mostly space. And so I'm hopeful that some of the dogs that maybe go to other rescues may be able to be paired with this program. And that's all I have.
I'll add to her comments. Heather Lane is, I don't know who you spoke to,
I
but she's
spoke-
kind of the outgoing,
Yes,
or taking a different, she's still involved in a different capacity.
correct.
And I was at their fundraiser last year, and I was supported the event, and it was at the Veterans Facility in downtown Columbus. Unfortunately, this year my grandson's birthday's on that date. I apologize for not being able to attend, but highly encourage, if anybody wants to attend that event, reach out to Heather or contact me. I'd be happy to put you in contact. But it is a great organization. You listen to the videos of these people who have served us, these veterans who have served us, and it's very heartwarming and reminds us of what they have done in our behalf. And if you have an opportunity to participate, I would encourage it. So.
It is a wonderful program. They've got some great success stories. When is the event again?
I don't know when that event is
Okay.
that Commissioner
It's
Merrill's
my
speaking
grandson's
of,
birthday, but I can't tell you it's
Oh,
off my head. I should know that day, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
But when I had the date, I looked and had to,
Now that
it's
you-
May
now
something.
May
It
2nd.
may suck.
Okay.
I could probably find it, but I'm not
When's
gonna
your wife's
embarrass.
birthday?
Yeah,
Well, I can do that one. Do you know all your grandkids' birthdays?
Absolutely.
Well, you're a better man than I am. But it's on a Saturday, I can tell you that.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah, it's on
that
a
narrows it
Saturday.
down to 4 dates.
Just show up. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Commissioner Benton?
A few things. Had a MORPC Executive Committee meeting last week, and one thing I forgot to mention the other day was they are really focused on Amtrak as as an expanding service in Ohio and in the corridor kind of between Cincinnati and Cleveland and other corridors. And there is real focus on that. There's a discussion of having a station in Delaware County, an Amtrak station. So again, it's related to this infrastructure bill that Congress passed, and some funding, significant funding is available for expanding rail service, and Amtrak is likely to be the recipient. So again, it could be down the road that we'll see an Amtrak station in Delaware County. Chamber State of the County is today. I believe Commissioner Lewis is the featured presenter.
Oh, I don't know. Well, we also have our
Tracy?
administrator.
Okay, good.
And
Is
our
it Brookshire
economic
at
development director.
11:45 or something like that?
What's the, it's
12?
11:45.
11:45. So, anyway, I'll be there, and
All right.
I'm sure Commissioner Lewis will do a great job presenting all the outstanding things that we have going on. Morpsey State of the Region was yesterday. I think most of us went to that. It was a very nice event. Again, kind of the same thing. There's just a lot of excitement, a lot of positive things going on in the region as well as in Delaware County, obviously. Got a land bank meeting this afternoon at 1:30, and then we did have our Sunny V auction. The auditor's auction was Tuesday at 10, and 3 properties were put up for auction. And the big one that received a lot of publicity was Sunny V, the old nursing home on the northwest side of Delaware. It did sell, and it sold at $100,000.
Oh, my.
There were 28 bidders registered. I think probably 8 or 9 actually bid on Sunny V during the auction. And very happy to see that property go into private hands with a real, very capable couple that bought it. They're going to turn it into a residence, renovate it, and I just think it'll be just an outstanding property in northwest Delaware.
Oh, it's such an eyesore.
It is an eyesore. It's
Just-
been neglected. It's been
Yeah,
abandoned 14,
yeah.
15 years.
Right.
But again,
That's really good news.
yeah, and so I think part of the learning from this and the positive thing is that this process worked very well. It was very efficient. And it's going to quickly get these properties, these neglected properties or abandoned in some cases, into the private sector's hand and get them renovated. Delaware County is a place where people really want to, fix up homes and live and so on. So these opportunities do attract a lot of attention. In fact, the other 2 parcels were empty lots that were sold in the city of Delaware as well. We weren't sure what was going to happen with them. We figured there would be a lot of activity with Sunny V, a lot of interest, but both the other parcels sold as well. So again, it's kind of a learning experience. This may be a way to address some of the abandoned or severely delinquent parcels that the treasurer is very appropriately going after pursuing, and there may be a quicker way to get those on the payroll in private sector and
Where were the other parcels, the other 2?
One of them was on Columbus Avenue. It was an empty lot, very small lot, an empty lot, and the other one was on London Road.
Okay.
An empty lot between a couple commercial
and
buildings.
it returned a lot more than we would have imagined for that empty lot. I
In
think
all
14,000,
3 cases,
yeah.
we got a lot more than we
wow.
expected in terms
Wow.
of the bids.
Yeah.
And again,
Great.
unproductive property return to the private sector, and presumably will be put to productive use and back on the tax rolls and address eyesores and help the community.
That's great.
Yeah, a lot of positive
Boy,
about it.
and both of you are on the land bank.
Yeah, and the
So
land bank, actually,
congratulations.
it was actually the auditor that conducted this sale, but the land bank was the one that pushed
Right.
the properties into foreclosure, which then enabled the auditor to sell
Okay.
them. So the land bank played an important role, but the auditor had never conducted one of these before.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it was really neat. There were probably 100 people there at the auction.
Uh-huh.
It was really neat. Channel 4 did an article, they did a segment on it.
Oh, that's great.
Really nice.
That's great.
So again, nice activity.
Great. Commissioner Merrill?
Yeah, only just add a little bit to that. I just think we owe thanks to the treasurer's office, to the auditor's office, both Auditor Kaitza and Treasurer Rinke played an important role in this, and And Mike Ringo served as the auctioneer.
Oh,
And his first effort, as far as I know, is his first effort in auctioning. I thought he did a good job. And, but the enthusiasm of the people there to vote, or to bid was exceptional. And we must have had 8 or 9 bidders on the Sunnyview property. 28, you indicated, had registered, at least 8 or 9 of those specifically voted on the Sunnyview property. There was a lot of interest. The couple who bought it, they do intend to live there. Their goal, from what my conversation is, their goal is a year from Thanksgiving, they hope to move in. But it's going to require a considerable amount of work, and they recognize there's going to be a considerable amount of investment. In fact, I think the news story said $600,000-700,000 they expect to, which is, they're going to put a lot of money into this. And I'm not sure the newspaper actually portrayed their commitment to this project and the return this gives to the taxpayers in our county, that we probably exceeded our best expectations.
Yeah, and that's a good point. One of the questions I've had is what happens to the 100,000? Well, the portion, a small portion, goes to cover the auction costs. And then the rest of it goes to the taxing districts that were shorted on the 150,000 of tax liens that were.
And I believe on the percentage that they would have received if they'd gotten the full amount, that would be how the, I believe that's
So
right.
the taxing districts will end up with roughly 2/3 of what they were owed, on, you know, when it did go through foreclosure.
And we get a property back on the tax rolls.
Yes, and we'll be paying taxes going forward.
And the aesthetic issues that we
I know.
all recognize.
Just-
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
My turn? I have a couple other things. Today's chamber presentation, I may leave a little early. I have a 1 o'clock CCO policy meeting
Oh, okay.
that is going to start at 1 o'clock, which I will have to leave early to make the land bank meeting, but I do need to make an appearance, so I probably will excuse myself about 1:15 to get back for the Zoom. It is a Zoom call. So I need to attend that so I can weigh in on a couple of issues. CCO board meeting is tomorrow, and that's another reason the policy meets today, if there's any recommendations to make to the board tomorrow. And it wasn't mentioned by Jeff, and Jeff is really good at mentioning all the things that are happening. Generally, it leaves me very little to mention, but tomorrow's a special day, as I understand.
It's the day after St. Patrick's Day.
So do you want to share with what that day is?
What? Is it your birthday? Tomorrow is my birthday.
So I'm surprised you didn't bring that up.
I forgot.
So happy birthday.
Well, thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
And and the date is May 21st. I found it on my phone.
Oh, 21st.
And my grandson's birthday is May 21st.
Okay, good.
And
You gonna remember that next year?
so I probably now can be wedded 21st. That's the year you can start drinking beer, I guess. I'll remember it that way. Or for my grandson at least. With that, I have nothing else.
Okay, well, happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. And do we have executive session?
We do not today.
All right, there, we are adjourned.